Hi, today we're going to be looking at learning target 4C, which is focusing on solving multi-step equations. So now that we've taken some time to learn some new skills, such as combining like terms and using the distributive property, we're now going to apply those skills to harder equations. All right, so let's start with general steps to solve multi-step equations. In general, the first thing we want to do is try to simplify each side of the equation. So when we look on just the left side or just the right side, we want to see, is there anything we can do as far as combining like terms or using the distributive property, if it's possible. Right? After we've done the simplifying, then similar to two-step equations, we're going to undo addition or subtraction first, and then our last step will be to undo any multiplication or division. Alright, so first example, we've got 3x plus 2x is equal to 15. Now I always like to draw my line down the middle, just like always, and then when I look at the left side of the equation, 3x plus 2x, I recognize those as being like terms. They both have an x to the first power, right? If I don't see an exponent, that's like an exponent of 1. So that means I can combine them together. And remember, we use the coefficient, or the number in front, while we're doing that. So 3x plus 2x, if I add 3 plus 2, that's 5, so this becomes now 5x is still equal to 15. And there is nothing to simplify on the right side. So it looks like we've simplified everything that we can, and now we're going to start solving for x. Now when I look at this, it's just a one-step equation. There's no addition or subtraction to undo. And so since this is 5 times x, I'm going to undo that multiplication by using division. So I will divide both sides by 5. It's going to cancel out here to give me just 1x is equal to 3. And again, check your answer by plugging it back in. So 3 times 3 is 9, plus 3 times 2 is 6. 9 plus 6 does equal 15. All right, our next example. I've got negative x plus 7x is equal to 42. So line down the middle and then look to see, can we simplify anything? All right, well, once again, it looks like this negative x and 7x, those are able to be combined together. I'm going to rewrite that negative x, though, as negative 1x. So you're able to insert a coefficient of 1 if you don't see a number written in front of a variable. But because it was negative, we'll make it negative 1x. All right, so negative 1x plus 7x, those are like terms. What would that side simplify to? So when you add negative 1x plus 7x, what do you get? All right, hopefully you said that that was going to add up to 6x, which is still equal to 42. And then like our last example, there's no addition or subtraction to get rid of, just this multiplication here. So 6 times x, we'll use the inverse operation, which will be to divide. So we'll divide both sides by 6, and x is going to be equal to 7. All right, let's try our next example. So 4x minus 2x plus 6 is equal to 2. All right, so I'm going to draw my line at the equal sign. Looking on the right side, there's nothing I can do over here, but there is some stuff I can do on the left side. All right, what do you think the like terms would be? Okay, hopefully you said that 4x and 2x can be combined together. Notice that we're subtracting these, so when we're doing 4x minus 2x, make sure you're using that correct operation. And so that simplifies to give us 2x plus 6 is equal to 2. All right, and now we have a two-step equation, so we're going to undo adding or subtracting first. So that means I'm going to focus on this 6 right now, and so to undo adding 6, I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. I'll cancel out here, giving me 2x is now equal to negative 4. And our last step is going to be to undo this multiplication by dividing both sides by 2. And so again, this will cancel, leaving me with x is equal to negative 2. All right, our next example. Now in this one, as you can see, we have parentheses, which means that we're going to have to use the distributive property since I have this number out in front of the parentheses. So, like we've practiced, we're going to take that outside number of negative 3, and we're going to distribute into each term inside the parentheses. Now be careful because we're distributing a negative number, and I also have a subtraction sign here. All right, so negative 3 times 2x, that becomes negative 6x. And then this negative 3 times, and I'm going to treat this as a negative 3, that's going to give me positive 9. So we rewrite that as negative 6x plus 9 is equal to 15. Once we've cleared out the parentheses, we look to see, are there any like terms that we could combine? I'm not seeing any because this one has a variable and this one doesn't. So now it's a two-step equation. We just need to follow those regular rules for solving. So what would be our next step? Okay, hopefully you said we're going to subtract 9 from either side. And so as we do that, this will cancel, giving us negative 6x on the left is equal to negative 24 on the right. And our last step will be to divide both sides by 6, or I'm sorry, negative 6. Again, having that cancel out to positive 1x is equal to positive 4. All right, one more. 2 times the quantity of 3x plus 5 plus 4x is equal to negative 30. All right, line down the middle. Okay, as we look at the left-hand side, what would need to be our first step? Okay, hopefully you said we're going to distribute, so I'm going to take this 2, I'm going to distribute into each part inside the parentheses. Notice I'm not multiplying by 4x because that's outside the parentheses. I only distribute to the terms inside the parentheses. So 2 times 3x, that's 6x, plus 2 times 5 is 10, and I bring down the plus 4x because it didn't go anywhere, I just didn't have to deal with it yet, and that's still equal to negative 30. All right, we've cleared out the parentheses. Is there anything else we can do to simplify here on the left? Hopefully you said that we can combine like terms. 6x plus 4x for a total of 10x plus 10 is equal to negative 30. And now we can undo adding or subtracting first. So I will subtract 10 from both sides to get rid of this plus 10, leaving me with 10x is now equal to negative 40. And I can then divide both sides by 10, giving me a final answer of x is equal to negative 4. All right, let's look at a couple of word problems to wrap up here. All right, you perform an experiment to see how the number of Venus flytrap seeds planted in a cup affects plant growth. In each cup, you plant either 5 seeds or 10 seeds. You want to use an equal number of cups for each seed amount. You have 75 seeds total. So how many cups of each do you need? And we're going to write and solve an equation to represent this. So the total number of seeds is being split up among the cups that have 5 seeds in them, plus the cups that have 10 seeds. Now, for the cups that have 5 seeds, okay, I don't know how many cups I need, but I'm going to do 5 times whatever that number is, so like 5x. Same thing over here. I don't know how many cups I have of 10 seeds, but each one has 10, so I'm going to be multiplying 10 times however many cups I have there. So again, 10 times x, because it explicitly stated that we want to have the same number of cups of each type. So 5x plus 10x has to be equal to our total of 75. Oh, and it looks like I used C for cups instead of X. The variable is not important, so whichever variable you feel comfortable using. All right, so to solve this equation, first thing we can do is look to combine some like terms. There weren't any parentheses, so we don't have to distribute, but we'll combine 5C plus 10C for a total of 15C is equal to 75. And what would be our next step in solving? Okay, hopefully you're going to divide both sides by 15, leaving us with C is equal to 5. So you would need 5 cups with 5 seeds each and 5 cups with 10 seeds each to make up a total of 75 seeds. All right, one more. The English teachers, Mrs. Jones and Mr. Gonzalez, are buying bookmarks for their classes. They want to give 3 to each student. Mrs. Jones has 92 students, and they buy a total of 396 bookmarks. How many students does Mr. Gonzalez have? And again, we want to write an equation and solve it. Okay, so we can say that however many total kids there are, we have to multiply that by how many bookmarks each kid is getting to get the total number of bookmarks. Now, unfortunately, we don't know the number of students in each class. We do, however, know that there are 92 students for Mrs. Jones. We don't know how many are for Mr. Gonzalez, so we'll have to use a variable to represent that. So however many students he has, we'll call it G, plus her students gives us total number of kids. We're going to multiply that by 3 because every single kid gets 3 bookmarks. And that's going to bring us to a total of 396. All right, so our first step is that we will distribute here so that we can clear out our parentheses. So 3 times G is 3G, plus 3 times 92 is now 276, and that's equal to 396. Undo addition or subtraction. So we're going to subtract 276 from both sides, leaving us with 3G is now equal to 120. And our last step would be to divide both sides by 3, leaving us with G is equal to 40. So there are 40 students in Mr. Gonzalez's class. All right, so to wrap up here, please record something you either learned or were reminded of and any questions that you have, and we'll follow up with this in class tomorrow. Thanks for watching.